If you're trying to lose weight and every other methods have failed, and you try different things of exercising and different ways of eating different style of food, and you still having weight problems, please pack your bag and come to Cuba. Being in Havana is an adventure. And the interesting part of this adventure is you cannot meet somebody who have visited Cuba and not have a mind-blowing story. Everybody that you see in Cuba or who have visited Cuba, if you ask them how was the experience being in Cuba, they will either laugh or begin to just have like a moment in their head of what was happening, because it's an adventure. It's not really a vacation, as you will go just kick your feet up and then boom, you're at the place. Now it depends too. There's some people who goes on vacation and all they're doing is literally just going to events and spots to take pictures. So they really don't know the city. They just know places where they went and visited. But if you come to Cuba or Havana or any type of vacation spot and you try to understand how people are living within that environment, you will realize that your vacation is not really a vacation. It's a book that you have just opened, and the adventure is you trying to figure out whether how many days you could last in that place. Keep in mind, this vacation has everything to do with how you really think as a person. It's a therapeutic roller coaster. And some people, when you ask them about Cuba, they get angry. They could easily get frustrated just to begin talking about, how fast they wanted to get out of the country so bad. And just by listening to them, it might get you to the point where you no longer feel like going to Cuba, or you don't want to go because it just feels like it's a lot of work. If you like to think and you enjoy going on adventures, Cuba is definitely the place to come. And I would advise a lot of people to come, just experience the adventure, because the lessons that you will learn is really, like I say, you are not just exploring the city, but you are also exploring who you are as a person. What kind of things, that gets you to say yes to, and what kind of things that pisses you off, and what kind of things that you can't deal with or easily get frustrated on in life. Or you'll meet all kind of tests in Cuba. There are people testing you. There are people trying to see how they can play with you. There are other things that's happening that you just have to make yourself become adjustable. If you have a mindset where every time something doesn't go right, you break down and you no longer want to continue, this won't be it. Because I'll tell you what happened. On the third or fourth day, while I was in Cuba, I think it was on the fifth day. The fifth day, I had there was just so much stuff that was happening. Some stuff I couldn't record. Some stuff is just because I can't keep walking around with the camera everywhere that I'm going. So there are some stuff that happened behind cameras, and let's just say people that I had a bad experience with, I try not to put their faces on my video because it served no purpose. It just means I thank them for the experience, because every experience that we go through, we are really learning ourselves. And because of that person, you get to learn something about yourself that you did not know existed. Like, for example, in my case, I did not know that I had a weakness in trying to help men get better. So, as I came to Cuba, and it happened twice, both of the scamming that I got, it had to do with me sitting there having a conversation with the man, with the dude, just telling me about his problem, and then he tells me about him being a father. So from there, I was raised by men. So I grew up around men, and when I find other men to be having problems, I try to either show them the way or tell them something that they didn't know, maybe it might help them. If they want to listen, that's fine. If they don't want to listen, I'll leave them alone, because I cannot force somebody to try to change something that's bothering them. If some people, they just want to be stuck in a story, they want that story so bad, they have no other way of trying to listen to different, advices that could help them change the theme of that story. So, with that being said, when I came to Cuba, both of the scams that I got literally had to do with a black man having a child and trying to figure out a way to help his kid. So at that point, it just hits you. If you're raised by men, and when you know how to relate with other men. Most of how can I put this? The majority of the men who are raised by mothers, they have a hard time connecting with male struggles. When they hear a woman is having a problem, they have to help a woman first, which is something that they grew up around. When it's a man, they kind of like act like it's a person that's not similar to their childhood experience. So they never seen a man who needed help and other men came to his help. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here. Basically, as you are growing up, you are seeing your mothers being helped by other men. You grow up, you start putting yourself into a position of trying to help women that creates problem for themselves, and then they seek for men to try to solve them. So it's kind of like the cycle of just reliving what your mother went through. But with us who grew up around men, when you see a man with a problem, you can try to have a conversation, and that conversation won't be so emotional. It'll be to a point where I'm trying to shoot straight to your chest. And if I shoot straight to your chest, you see what that problem is. It's not that you have to change at that moment, but it is so you can have to think about the problem that you're going through. You can't do this with a lot of male who are raised by women, because they get so emotional. Every time you tell them what the problem is, one, they don't want to listen because they grew up around where you just don't have to listen. I have to do me. But life is not just doing you. You have to listen as a person. That's one of the key thing and psychological parts of being raised by a certain type of sex. When you grow up around men, you learn how to listen. So when you grow up, you still practice listening. When you grow up around women, about 90% of the time, you do not like to listen. Listening is such a problem to you because nobody around you are ever told to just shut up and listen to what is happening. Everybody just like la 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 la. You say this. My feelings are hurt. I don't have to listen to you. I'm grown. I'm 18. Bruh, cut you off. And then the problem still continues. So it's like a person just circling around the same problem. All they have to do is just listen, and then boom, we solve this problem. You know? So that is something that I came to find out in Cuba. And that weakness I don't know if it's a weakness. It is a weakness because I got scammed twice for it. So it is a weakness. When a man tells me a story that, oh, I have a child, I'm trying to take care of my child, blah blah, automatically I'm like, you know what? We're gonna do something about that. We're gonna try to figure out, even though the conditions are bad, let me try to help you with this. And we go forward with the problem solving method. That's the heart of a man towards another man, because you don't see another man as somebody that you should put down. You see another man as somebody that you should be helping get out of that situation so the community could become a better place. But if you position yourself as a man, the only time you come to help men's out is after somebody died. That's not really helpful. That's destroying the community. If you help a man solve a problem, you build a community. So I got scammed because of that belief. And on the fourth day, I think it was the fifth day. The fifth day, I had a mental breakdown. The mental breakdown, which was, how is it that I'm trying to help somebody, but they don't want to see what it is, the value of what it is that I'm trying to give to them. Instead, they're turning it into a scam, taking my emotion towards something that is valuable, that could be valuable towards them, and turn that into a scam where you get to the point where, because you are trying to help me, you have to pay me. I'm sitting there like, how do I have to pay you if I'm trying to help you with what you're going through?